Hello. All right, let's turn you on. This is live.
Hello, hello.
Well, you'll be hello, hello in a second.
You got those nifty fans behind you. Is that we're live streaming to the fans? We got to do better than this. We got to do better than this. This is how we start the live stream.
This is how we start the live show. And it turned out to be much busier. And I was like,
I thought you were going to point towards people.
Well, I thought there'd be more people here.
Cut to the wide shot.
This is the wide shot.
Oh, okay. Here we have the wide shot. All right, there we go. There's some action behind us.
There is a little bit of action.
We're going to get the guy from Bright Tangerine to talk in a minute.
Okay. So anyway, my name is Anthony Barocas. I am here at the Winter Gear Showcase at Texas Film Expo. I don't even know where to look because I got so many cameras in front of me. And I am here with Barack, who is the mastermind of so many things, actually. I'm having trouble keeping up with all the different things that you're working on. But you've got a lens in your hand. Want to talk about this lens a little bit?
Sure. Well, I was just going to say thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this live stream. This is the 5th year that we've done the Texas Film Gear Winter Showcase. Yep. And just as a reminder, all your followers, Texas Film Gear is a reseller of pro video, pro audio, lighting, post-production equipment in DFW. We've been doing it a long time. We rep most of the major brands. A lot of them are here. You know, we have Sony, we have Canon, we have Red, which is now part of Nikon, so we have Nikon here, and then we're big on lenses. We've got Sigma, and we've got Zeiss, and we've got lights, which I want to talk about in a second. Lighting, which we're doing with light panels and Cream Source, and KinoFlow and ICANN, companies like that. So a little bit of everything, and then we get into post and other sorts of workflows. We do some integration. So that's our scene. And every January we like to have a show and just remind people that the new year has started, and what projects people have coming on that we can help with throughout the year before they don't have to wait for NAB to figure out what they need for the year. They can come to the Winter Gear Showcase in January. So that's the play. That's the play here.
Well, and also, I'm a little loud. The other thing you have here is you have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
And just setting up for this, it's like, it's not just film gear, but it's like if somebody's doing a production.
Yeah.
And they need, stands and just the production and grip gear.
Yeah, and and I'll clarify that we're not a rental house. There's lots of rental houses in town if you need to rent a package for your shoot. But if you want to invest in gear for your shoot and have it in your truck, and we can also do grip gear as well. But side note, the space here does do studio rentals, and that's under a partnership with Ideaman and our new brand Texas Film Studios, which is just the brand for renting the studio spaces. So we have the white studio space and then the green studio space that gets rented on a daily basis for a lot of productions, daily productions, corporate productions.
Put that one right there, I think it is.
What have you in town. So we, there you go, you got a shot of it. Yeah. But yeah, that's the gist of what's happening here. But this is, full gear show. If you're following Anthony's channel and you're trying to figure out if you're going to make it out today, we're here till 5 o'clock. So
it's an all-day thing. It's not just like I'm only streaming for a little hit at the beginning. Yeah. But you guys are here all day. There's lunch
Yeah, there's going to be lunch if you leave your house right now. Free lunch. And we're doing drinks, beer and wine
That's right,
at the end. So yeah.
At the end, 3 o'clock, was it 3 to 5?
Yeah, 3 to 5.
And and then also in terms of renting the studios, the nice thing is to come down and actually see the studio space itself.
It's a good day to see
it's one thing you can see photos, but to really realize what the space is, and going in there and seeing the lighting that's in there and available and the space around it, and also how quiet it is.
Yeah.
And also
sound sync shooting, white psych or green psych.
So and there's a lot going on, and in the seminar that's going on right now, you've got seminars in those rooms.
Seminars in both rooms. They're doing Brainstorm, Fuji, and Sony is going to be in green studio, and then on the white studio we're doing AJA, Cream Source, Iodine, which is kind of a new company for storage, and then Red and Nikon at the end.
Okay, so that's definitely going to be busy there. Peeking into the green screen, they were doing virtual sets.
Yes,
XR.
That's what Brainstorm does, yeah.
So, when people think, I'm just renting the studio, is there a partnership with someone that can actually do XR here?
100%. We have a partnership with this company called Glyph Studios that uses Brainstorm, and they can do a virtual set for you in that green studio.
So if somebody is like, listen, I have this thing, but I don't have that technology, and I don't want to rent a studio, and then I have to find the technology. You've already got the partnership where you can And
then there's lots of opportunity. You can shoot all over town for volume wall, and those. But doing it on green and doing virtual set could be actually a more economical way to do it.
And also you're not limited to the same physical space, because I've seen some of the volumes are.
So they call it infinity set, meaning that you can pan the camera past the green and still be in the set.
Right. There's that, and the fact that some of the volumes are just LED walls. They call it a volume. Oh, come to our volume studio. No, you just literally have an LED wall. You have nothing on the floor.
Some of them have floors, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Not all of them have floors.
Not all of them have floors, and I think there's a big distinction between if you're on an XR, you're walking on the moon, or whatever you wanted to be walking on.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, thank you very much for that. Let's see if we got any questions coming in yet. Oh, my goodness.
All right. People listening to your stream?
Wish I could join live. Just have to watch later. Let's see. Kay. Kirk Kerr is in Dallas, Texas. Looking forward to another good show. Keep up the good work. Someone's freezing in LaSalle, Illinois. And
Nikki,
guess what?
You want to talk to them? He's doing a live stream. You promote Canon for 5 minutes? For 5. Are you on a call?
And watching from Greece.
She needs me.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to Anthony about?
He needs to talk to me.
Yeah, we need to talk to you.
Yeah, talk to him about DPA.
Yeah.
Well, let me get if you need to swap him out, but he can talk DPA and some other stuff.
Yeah, let's talk a little DPA.
All right, I'll swap out. I got to talk to Nikki.
A little
We
bit.
talk other things too, like film festival, Texas theater, but
Let's do all of that.
too many things, Barack. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing all right. Yeah. So, introduce yourself to our viewers. You're over here.
Okay. Do I need to put this on?
Yes. Sorry.
I just didn't even clip it in. I just sat down and was even just rocking away.
You're good.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Hi, my name is Ashton Campbell. I am the Executive Director of the Dallas Producers Association, and I'm also the Festival Director of the Oak Cliff Film Festival, as well as one of the partners of the Texas Theater, and also a freelance, producer in Dallas.
So, one of the things that we could talk about is new to Texas is these film incentives. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Like, how have you seen infusion yet, or how fast is the ramp up going to be?
I think. I mean, it's obviously going to take a little bit of time to really get it to really start happening, but it's already in the works. Like, you can see it. Like, I'm hearing about more productions that are getting ready to come here, 100%. So. It's really exciting, actually, because I think in the next, I think if you and I are talking this time next year, I think we're going to have a lot of things to talk about that were shot here in Dallas. And I know that during the Oak Cliff Film Festival, which we had our film festival last June, there were a lot of directors from out of town, knew about the incentives, and were kind of pseudo scouting while they were doing their film tour and on their festival circuit run. They were also looking around and talking to our local film commission. I think Katie Shuck and Austin Flores are doing a really good job with just getting that out there and really getting us, I don't want to say on the map, but just kind of back on the map to get more things shot in Dallas.
Right. And in reality, there's been a lot of Texas things recently, Landman and Chosen and everything, and all those things are not necessarily, years ago they weren't necessarily Hollywood things, but that has really grown. Texas has really started to become like synonymous with certain types of productions. Like if you wanted to look like Texas, you film it in Texas type of thing.
Totally, 100%, yeah.
And, I'm wondering how that might... Don't listen.
I mean, he's not wrong. Hi, buddy.
In terms of...
and it didn't used to be, though. That's the weird thing, is that, like, one things that I always, a little kind of annoying thing that used to bother a lot of us locally a few years back is, like, Hell or High Water was, I believe, shot, the majority of it was in New Mexico. And it's a Texas-based film, but it's shot in New Mexico, except for some scenes that they had to see that were Texas.
Right.
But they shot in New Mexico because there weren't incentives.
Right.
And that's the thing that us as just Texans should have been annoyed at. Like, oh, why are they going to New Mexico to shoot something that's supposed to look like Texas? Just because it looks like West Texas. Like, anywhere in New Mexico can look like West Texas, right? It all starts looking the same. Shoot it here. And that's what I think, not to cut you off a second ago, but like that's where I think some of the things we need to get that changed, and hopefully this will happen, and maybe Taylor Sheridan has helped with that.
Yeah, I think definitely he's really established a footprint here, and that resonates with other people. Like, well, if he can do it, if somebody, don't mean necessarily him, but if somebody is there and they're doing it and it's working, I can do that too. And now with the film incentives, that sort of puts more weight behind that. Like, well, I was interested in doing it before, but now with the incentives, I could really take advantage of this and that at the same time. What type of productions, because I know there's gaming here too. Frisco has a gaming company.
Gearbox.
Yeah, Gearbox. Yeah. And I was just wondering, do you see it as just film making, but do you see it also as television production? Do you also see it as game and other media production? Like, what is the scope do you see?
Really good question, because I do think that it's 100% trickle down effect of it's all encompassing to me. I think one will spur the other one. So I think that if we get some more film shot here, we're already getting more shows shot here, right? Sheridan helped us get there. So, okay, now if we're getting more shows shot here, that'll probably get more films shot here. Okay, if we're doing more films, maybe they'll all piggyback on each other. And they all should, because media is media. It's all they're all in the same idea. It's all entertainment. Yeah. Video games and movies are there to entertain you. And yeah.
To that extent, it's also to speak to, if somebody's shooting a bunch of television here, that means those resources, camera operators, lighting people, audio people, grip people, all that talent is available, so that if somebody wants to shoot a movie or a commercial or something like that, they're not having to bring in crews. Exactly. They're able to leverage the crews that have now sprouted here because of the work that's being done here, and that can be cumulative. So like you said, it's like if somebody's just doing television here, that can then plant crews that when the television's not shooting, now they're going to work on a film.
Yeah, absolutely. So hypothetical, like, you've got a producer or a grip, gaffer, whatever, working on Landman or whatever Taylor Sheridan universe show, Sheridanverse or whatever we're calling it these days, like out there, right? And then 2 years later, he's producing a script that his buddy wrote, and he remembers when he shot something in Texas, and then because he shot there and he was there, so then he starts remembering, we can do this in just outside of Fort Worth or in Aledo or all these, when you're there and you have a reason to go there, then and you're filming there, that you start you start remembering where you're at, and you're like, well, I need a location. I remember we did this one. And we shot there for this scene or whatever, and that could be great because we're all evolving in our crafts, right? So again, like, there could be a young up and coming writer who's a PA right now on a set, and then in 3 years is going to have a great script that gets picked up and somebody's directing it, but he wrote it based on his surroundings or something like that. So these little things can start happening because it's all going to be that trickle down effect to where we just want more things shot here. We just want more work here, because this way we're not fighting and cannibalizing each other on, like, I want the gaffers to all have tons of work to where they have to outsource more people from other states because we don't have enough people to do it, as opposed to, all right, out of you 10, who's going to get this one gig? And then we're kind of like, that's the problem that I think we have. We have so many people here, but we're so little things were shot here for a while that we're all trying to find the work.
Right.
Now I want it to be.
And also, I think it benefits everyone. More work benefits everyone because then you're not undercutting.
Yeah.
You're not like, well,
Absolutely.
in order to get the gig, I have to like cut my rate. I have to cut my rate. Like that's the only thing, solution to it is to cut the rate. If there's enough work to go around, then everybody can charge a respectable rate because you're not having to fight and undercut the other guy.
Absolutely.
Or girl.
The undercutting that's a thing, because when it got slow around here, I remember we were at a DPA event 4 years ago, and an old veteran in a certain craft in Dallas got up and said, like, we need to stop undercutting each other, and a lot of students are undercutting our rates, but the students don't know any better. They're just trying to get the work, and they don't know that they're undercutting a guy who's been doing audio for 25 years and who has his set rate of X dollars, and they're coming in $400 less than that. Maybe it's the production company's fault for like saying, hey, we can't make that, but we'll do it for this. Will you do it for that? And the guy's like, of course I will. I just want the work. Well, that just set the new rate. Now the market rate is set, and then it's like, okay, well now I got to do it for that rate. And then I know there's plenty of times where I've reached out to, in one of my productions, I've reached out to freelancers and be like, hey, this is my budget. This is what I can do for the DP or the gaffer or the audio, whatever. And it's your choice. You can do it. I know that your rate is X, and this is like a couple $100 less than that, or right at that, or just underneath. But it's your choice to do it. But this is what I'm trying. This is all I have to pay.
Right. This is
rather than not do it. I'm going to have somebody do it, and that's just what we have to do now. Coming in super undercutting and then taking away work, that's a different story.
Yeah.
That's bad. But if we have more work, we won't do that.
Right. And I think everybody's at a different place in their production life, too. Like you said, students and everything. I remember going to a DPA breakfast, and there was this young kid, obviously like either still in college or just graduated or whatever, and he's like, I got a full red kit and everything like that, and and I'll do $500 a day, and I'm just like. How are you even paying off the equipment? And he's like, oh, my parents got it for me. Exactly. So there's no debt. He's not looking at it from a business sense, but he's not at that point yet where he, then when he's on his own, it's like, well, I got to pay for insurance and the rental and all the stuff. And that comes with time, but, everybody's in a different part of their journey,
Yeah. And then they start realizing that, oh, I can charge for my gear. Wait, I can charge an extra, like, I got labor and equipment, I can separate those, and it's not just like, I've been there. I remember the first camera I bought, I was producing a documentary series that I was also deciding to shoot, and I was renting a camera so much, I was like, well, I need to get a freaking camera here. So I bought a camera, and at the time, I had like kind of my show had a flat rate for every episode. That the client was paying for.
Right.
So, and the sponsors were paying for. So I was kind of capped. So I just tried to fit in my camera within that, but I wasn't hiring anybody. But then after that, I was like, well, I need to pay off this camera still. So I got hired for a gig. I was like, well, this is my rate, and I'm going to throw an extra like 150 on. And I was still, 32 years old or something like that, still figuring it all out. And I was like, I got an extra $200 off my camera. Wow, that's cool. And I remember like thinking that I could do that, and then realizing that was the standard and it was okay. And when you realize your worth, and everybody needs to take themselves more seriously. And if we are going to get more productions here, I think that us as a region need to take ourselves more seriously as a hub, as a destination. And I don't mean that to sound insulting, by the way. I've said that before, and I think that some people can be like, well, what do you mean? That's like, no, I'm not. I'm just saying that if we're going to grow into what we think we should grow, Movie Maker Magazine just gave us number 7 destination to work in the cities and we're number 7 in the top, whatever, 50, 20, whatever it was. We're number 7 to live and work if you're in the production industry. That's awesome. We need to start taking ourselves seriously and not be so desperate for certain things, undercutting each other, all these things, work together, understanding that we all, if all the audio guys around town are all busy, that's better for the community than if they're not as busy and then they're fighting for work. Or fighting with each other for, well, he's doing it for 7, I'll do it for 6. And then just, because I know that happens. We all know that happens.
Well, and I think we're actually, well set for this. Not just, with the space and the resources and the people, but with the Dallas Producers Association, to your point, it's saying like now we have a mission to educate people. Give them, this is what a sample contract looks like. Take this, mold it to what you need. This is what a rate sheet looks like. Listen, you charge for you charge for the gear, you charge for distance, you charge, you have all these things. You have expendables that get consumed and everything in the use of production. Whereas, people coming out of college or people just winging it on their own because it's a hobby and everything don't know that, and, don't understand that it's a business first. Yes, we're here doing this and we kind of we enjoy this work, but at the same time, it's a business first, and younger kids need mentorship. They need to be educated, and that's the one thing, like when I was in college, I was always thinking like, film school does not have a business class, and then the day you graduate, you're freelance, and you have no idea like what's an accounting structure, what's
what the hell do I do now?
What's estimated quarterly payments?
That's the worst. That's the worst.
I'm cursing on
YouTube. I was about to before. I was like, what the F am I doing here? Yeah, estimated quarterly payments. That'll screw you. That'll get you because you're like, I got to pay this now. Or I got to put money aside now? Like, I mean, that hit me hard. I remember one year in particular, I was like, whoa, I did not prepare accordingly. But to your point,
Right. So, and I think
somebody needs to tell me that.
Leveraging the Dallas Producers Association and the other organizations here to take the membership and say, what are the top 10 things you needed to know that you know now, and then formulate those into classes, formulate those into programs or, online tutorials. Here's the 10 video process or our own master class in being a freelancer and things like that. It's like Jim Cameron can teach filmmaking, but doesn't teach you how to run your business, because that's the other thing.
He's teaching you how to line produce. He's teaching you how to make the movie,
Right. And, it's like, I know people who are artists, but the thing you never learn as an artist is how to run a business.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the hard thing, is that, it's like, well, I'm really good at camera. Yeah, but are you really good at marketing and billing and invoicing and all this other stuff? Like, I remember seeing this really good pie chart for a photographer. What people think photographers do: take cool pictures, celebrate, and then post on Instagram. And then what photographers actually do: take cool pictures, Photoshop pictures, do business, marketing,
promote, market, promote.
And it's like there's all this other stuff, and none of it is covered in classes.
No,
and that's the thing, to like really be successful at the business, you have to know what the business is.
Absolutely. It's there will be a DPA event coming up that talks about this. I'm already working on devising that right now. I was a freelancer. I still am, but I remember when I got out of college, I was freelancing at the company I was working for and eventually worked for, but they didn't have enough real work to give me the full-time gig. So I was immediately like the 1099 guy. So I was like full-time, part-time. I was like always going to get hired, but it was when we had the jobs to do for the first like 2 years of my career. So I'm 24 and 25 during this time. What the fuck am I doing? I have no idea. I'm like, okay, so what's a W-9? What? Wait, I got to do a what? You're giving me a 1090 what? And it's like, okay, so, oh, cool, look at this check. And then not knowing that like a third of that needed to get pulled for this, like, oh shit.
And then also in terms of like, okay, you're not employed, so then everything you're using for the job is deductible. The percentage of use of your car, the mileage you drive, all the expenses
Lease
for
your car, people. Lease your car if you're a freelancer.
All of the stuff that you use to get to and perform your job.
Everything.
Is you have to keep track of all of that, keep the receipts for all of that.
You're a creative. If you're in this industry, you're probably a creative on some level, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to school and you're graduating with your photography, filmmaking, radio, writing, whatever arts thing, it's art. Artist. That's what it is. We're all artists on some form or fashion. We are not going to business school. We are not accountants. We are not. Hell yeah, we should. And it's like, and you said it perfectly. You don't know. Like you get out there and you're like, wait, what now? I'm supposed to do what? Like, and you might focus on only marketing yourself because you're trying to get the work, right? So then you're trying to get the work, find the work, execute the work. Now at the end, it's, okay, what do I do with what I was given for the work? How do I put that here? How do I invest in gear? How do I know what to do? I know a lot of friends that wasted a lot of money on gear they didn't need early on. They thought they did. And it's like, maybe they should have just asked somebody. Like, you didn't need to buy all those lenses. You could have just now rented. But then again, I was in the opposite. I was renting a camera that the rental house locally was like, hey man, you should probably just buy this from us. You've already given us X. You're halfway there. And I was like, oh shit, you're right. Thanks, guys. And they were also trying to get rid of that camera, so it worked. But it was like, all right, this makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And I learned by just the mentors, and like that's what you're saying, like somebody to guide you along the way. I had 3 really good ones that were like helped me along the way. They were my producers at the company that I was doing that full-time, part-time that I ended up getting full-time gig for. They were just like my big brothers, and I owe everything to Tim, JP, and Tony because they were all just looking out for me along the way and giving me advice like, hey man, put some of that money in like a little savings account that you're going to use to pay your taxes later. I'm like, pay my what? No, I get refunds. And they're like, no, you don't. Not anymore.
Now it is.
Because that $1,000 check we gave you for those couple shoots you did, that's tax-free right now. Nothing was pulled out of that. You need to start allowing for like, the self-employment and the this. And I'm like, the what? And that's when the 1099s and the W-9s. And I'm like, I used to get the W form, the W-2, whatever, that used to come from my bartending gig when I was in college, that I got $300 back a year. And now you're telling me I owe $1,400? And I remember one year I owed $7,000, and I was like, I was like 29 years old. I was like, shit. And that was eye-opening. And so it hits you, and I did the payment plan like we've all probably done in this room. We've all probably done that here. But yes, somebody needs to teach that. Somebody needs to do a business of the business of freelancing is what I think I'm going to call this thing. And it will happen because it's very, very imperative. And an accountant will be on site to give us some tips. I've already talked to somebody who will do that. So that's coming, people. Like in our events, that's coming.
And it really applies to anyone because I do live streaming. I have different gear and stuff like that. And it's like I know people. I'm involved in forums, and people say, oh yeah, I charge a flat rate for a gig, and you're rolling the hardware into it maybe, but it's sort of like figure out like what is your hourly rate, and then. So it's like I got to the point where it's sort of like, okay, if you want me to bring my small studio, my portable studio, it's $1,100. I'm not even there. You want me to be there? It's another $850.
Totally.
Because if then I would get hired to come into a studio. Well, you're not buying my studio, but you're hiring 20 years of experience to come in and direct and call and engineer a show. So that's what you're getting for
absolutely
the $850. If you wanted the hardware, the hardware is on top of that.
Total 100%. Like if you want to bring I've got 3 different cameras here. You want me to shoot the one in back in the day you want me to use the 4K camera? The new and improved version of everything? Okay, cool. Well, that's going to be this a day. The other one is this a day. You got options. Which one? But you're paying for a camera to show up on set. One of those mentors I was talking about gave me a real simple line that worked for me when I was freelance. He's like, they're not always paying for your skills. They're paying for your time. And your time also has skills in there. So like I'm paying you to do this job. Okay, cool. Well, I know that you can do this job, but it's not always about like, well, I'll take that rate for that. It's like, no, you're giving them 10 hours of your day, 11 hours of your day, 12 hours of your day. It's more about the time than the actual skill sometimes, and your time is valuable. And if you don't value your own time, then you're undercutting yourself. And I was like, man, that's really good advice. Like, they're not paying for my cinematography skills. They're paying for my time to do it. And you have to start thinking about what your time is. Like you talking about, like what you just said a second ago, like putting a number on your rate. What's your rate? What's your hourly rate? Like, how good am I as an editor? Do I charge this amount per hour or this amount per hour? Where am I at? Find your rate. Stick to it. Like, know your worth.
Right.
If you turn down a gig when I asked you, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad that you won't work for that rate. I respect it.
Right.
I might not be able to pay your full rate with the jobs I'm doing. Everybody's got the different rates.
Yeah.
I might not be able to pay you that much, and I hope to get there, but I appreciate. And I remember the first time I turned down a gig because of the money, and I was astonished and petrified that I did that. I was like, did I just screw myself out of getting a call from that client down the road? I was fresh into freelance. I think I was like 29, not married yet, no kids, trying to get to that point in life. And I was like, did I just lose future work because I told them no? because they were going to pay me $250 less than my day rate. And I guess that's not what they were thinking, because 3 months later they called me and they said, hey, we want to hire you. We got your day rate. And I was like, it worked. It worked. I told them no, and they came back to me and said yes. So I think everybody has to know their worth and take yourself seriously. I've been saying that a lot lately, but I think that we all kind of need to, around here, and understand that we are not some little small market. Like, things need to happen here. Things need to be shot here. We are too big and too important of a market to not do more stuff. And we all need to work together.
I think you make a good point about knowing your worth, but I would say it does go to I like this phrase, experience and expertise.
Yeah.
The two E's are, first of all, those are things that AI are not going to have ever.
So don't freak out, everybody, just yet. Yeah.
But I think knowing your experience, expertise, like there's definitely a couple of different cinematographers here. We have, a couple of venerable cinematographers.
I know 5 of them here already.
in the DPA group, but they're going to have different rates per day. And let's just say you want James, James is going to be like, this is my rate. I can't pay that. Well, I can't do your shoot.
Exactly.
And you can aspire as a producer to I know what it takes to get his skills, his experience and expertise onto my thing. And like you're talking about time, it's that, the editor, it's like, well, you can charge per hour, but you can charge more per hour because you're fast. You get to the point where it's like somebody who's super fast and just, JKL cutting and they can just jam through stuff really fast, versus the student who is like, I got to watch it all through and then go back and and then copy it down and then move them around. Like, you're taking 4 times as long. This is the budget to edit the film, so your rate is less because you're going to take longer. Whereas the person who charges more, it's not punishment to be charged more. They're going to put this expertise into just giving you, I know how to cut this. I know how to create this feel, the quiet moments, and boom, 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 and bam. That's what they got, and that's what you paid for. You didn't pay. It's not so much the hourly rate, like you are $100 an hour. No, I need your expertise infused into this, and that's what it costs.
Exactly.
Almost regardless of the time.
Exactly, and it is. And I remember, I've got a good buddy, Robert, who's a fantastic DP. And I remember working with him when I was at a staff gig, and we had, budgets. And I started doing my own stuff, and my budgets aren't as high, obviously, because I'm, but I remember thinking, I hired a couple of DPs early on that when I needed a DP, because I could shoot as well. So when I realized, I can't do both, I need to direct and let this guy shoot. I remember early on understanding that's why my buddy is more money. He's got all these toys and he comes with this whole van of stuff, and we're not piecing things together, and everything's just more efficient. The whole shoot is more efficient. Was it $8,000-9,000 a day? Yes. Was it worth it? Oh my God, hell yes. And it's and I remember the first time I took money out of my rate to get him on the shoot, essentially, with my client. They gave me the overall number, and I was like, okay, this can go to post, this is this is actual field production. All right, for me to field direct that day, I'm going to take X. Okay, what if I took $100 out of that, $100 out of this, my editing fee, and put it forth for this? I can get my guy. And I remember the first time I did that, and it made my shoot so much better. And I was like, this is why you pay. This is why he knows what he's worth. He knows what he's bringing to the table. It is his expertise, and it is, his education and his brains and everything like that. But it's also his gear and his toys and his equipment. So it's another E. It's so he's there with all this stuff, and we didn't. We could. If this would be better if we did this. I've got that in the truck. Oh hell yeah! Well, I got my drone with me. I can fly the drone. Holy shit, we don't need a drone op that day. It's little things like that I think go a long way, and those are the areas that I think that when you're a freelancer, you have to figure out. Robert didn't always give me this crazy friend rate that I maybe wanted him to, and then looking back on it, I was like, I'm glad he didn't, because he needs to
establish his value.
And make know your worth, establish your value, don't undercut yourself, I don't care how desperate you are. You know, it sucks sometimes. It sucks saying no to some gigs, but if the client's not going to pay you what you're worth, do you really want to work for them?
Right.
I mean, how much are they going to take advantage of you? How much leverage are you going to have? How are you going to be able to like say no to certain things or whatever? We have an audience. No.
I know. All of a sudden we got an audience. Hello, everyone.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's important, and it's all kind of elementary shit, but it's like somebody that, like, again, like you said earlier, like we need somebody to tell the young freelancers that early on.
Yeah.
I think, and that needs to happen, and it will. And part of the DPA is education, and we will be educating young people how they can better be suited for the business side of it.
Right.
It's not something none of us like doing it. None of us like crunching numbers. That's why we're in freaking filmming. You're doing that because you don't probably like accounting. You did not want to be that.
And I will admit, my foible is billing. Like and it comes to, and it comes.
I suck at invoicing.
It comes out of habit because when you start out, you're trying to get the work. So you're working so hard to get the work that you're at the end of the gig, you're struggling for the next the next grappling hook has to go out. You're not worried about, well, now I have to finish all this other task and invoicing and put all the receipts together and do a cost structure for that. No, I'm like looking for the next rock to grab to pull myself up for the next level and things like that. And that's the struggle of being that freelancer at the beginning. We've taken like a good section of time doing a great education here. I want to remind people, take this moment to remind people that we are at the Texas Film Gear Winter Gear Showcase in Dallas, Texas, 166 or 166 Express Street. We are here all day. So if you're in the Dallas area, in the Fort Worth area, come on down. The whole building is open. There are two filming studios. I try not to use that word anymore. Two filming studios. One's a green screen. One is a white cyc with colored lights. There's XR demo this morning. Come check all of this out here at the, I want to say Expo Showcase, because I did the DPA.
Texas, and the studio's called Idea Man. If you're like looking for it, or like that. Idea Man Studios.
Idea Man Studios is here. My name is Anthony Brooks from StreamTek. For all those who are watching around the world, because somebody chimed in from Greece already. I think the key is, like, what we're talking about is to find a mentor.
Yeah.
To find a mentor if you're new to it, to work with other people and share experiences, find a local organizations, because we're lucky to have the DPA here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And when I was up in Philly, we had the PVA, And
Were you a Philly guy originally?
Originally, yeah.
I'm from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. My man.
And so it's understanding, it's trying to understand what you don't know and go find ways to know it, because there's, you go to YouTube University and things like that, but it's a mentor is much better to have that answer and to also see from outside where your gaps lay. Absolutely. And say, you need to go get a book on accounting, or you need to go get a book on spreadsheets or invoicing or business management, especially like, you were talking about in particular, managing people. You get to the point where it's now too much for me. Now I have to hire someone. Oh, that's a whole other layer of business. Like,
100%,
okay, now I need your tax information. I need to appropriately manage that tax information, because those are important records. And now I need to not only do my taxes at the end of the year, I need to do your taxes at the end of the year and send you forms.
I'm sending my CPA tomorrow, by tomorrow, all of my 1099s from last year, people that I 1099. So she's going to create the 1099s for me and send it to them. So I'm going through them like, I pay this person this much. Okay, I got to put them in the list. They're over $600. I got to put them in there. It's all that stuff that I really don't want to do, but I have to. And I made that bed, so I need to lie in it.
It's the business management part of the business.
Get my good side, Jason. It is. It's, and you don't. Again, we just keep harping on it. You did not sign up for that. You didn't. You didn't. You have to figure out that that's part of it, though, and you need to figure out all the layers of that onion. And like, this is the goal, but there's all these things to get there.
Yeah.
And it's people, and it's money, and it's numbers, it's people, it's relationships, it's community, it's all those things have to kind of you have to figure all those things out, because if you don't know your market and where you're living in your community, like if you're living in an area that's all about corporate and you're doing not corporate, you need to figure something out, you know. And the same thing, a lot of people here that were like just wanting to do narrative film for so many years, and it's all corporate and commercial. Why are you here? I mean, you need to go to another place. Now it's changing. Now everything's happening here.
There's a balance. There's a good
yeah,
balance
and now
here.
we're changing, and it's getting so much better. It's going to be so much better. So
These are great lessons for students to hear.
100%. Yeah, thank you.
This viewer is someone, he actually teaches a media class in California.
Oh, great. Yeah, I that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm talking about then, because we've all been there, and I taught at StreamTek over here in a documentary class, and part of my end of the year was not talking about filmmaking anymore. It's like, okay, let's talk about the real world and the skills to get out there. And the two things I always say every time I do any kind of mentorship talk or career days, like, show up on time, don't be a dick. Those are the two first things you can do. Like, show up on time, don't be a dick. Be a good human, show up on time. Don't be afraid to work for free if you're young and hungry. And I guarantee you, if you do that the right way, you won't be working for free very long. And get an internship, find a mentor, all those things.
Yeah.
They're great. And nobody wants to turn down free help. Trust me. Nobody's going to be like, no, they always want free help. And most people are happy to impart their wisdom on you. So they're fun. Like, don't be afraid to ask for, like, hey man,
that's the important part.
Me, like, can I buy you coffee one day and give me an hour of your time and let me pick your brain, and then after that it becomes emails. Like, I got a question, can I email you? Yeah, sure. I do that. Yeah. I got 10 and 15 different people that email me questions all the time, and I'm hoping that I'm helping them.
Yeah.
And I think that I am, and that plus it just makes me feel good.
Right, and you know,
selfishly,
as you move up in our journey, we're now up here, and we then become the mentors to other people. But I think, like you were saying, for people who are interested in this and getting started and trying to learn the business and things like that, and you're on a shoot with other people who are really good, you know, like you said, you know, be on time, don't be bad. Yeah. And I think the other key thing that I've always felt is ask questions.
Ask questions, yeah.
Ask questions, and then, you know,
don't be afraid to ask questions.
Preface them. Don't just be in somebody's face and everything. But if there's like a lull and everything, and say, hey, yeah, I'm new to this. I saw you were doing this. Why do you do that? You will get 10 minutes of just brain dump education from the audio guy, from the DP, from whatever, you know, that you will walk away enlightened just from 3 sentences, you know. And that, I feel, you know, sometimes people are afraid to ask questions, or they're not you know, they're shy or whatever. You know, you're going to benefit more, you know, just reaching out a little bit, you know, touching base with someone, making a connection, you know, and not to the person who is there next to you, the other intern, but to reach out to the, you know, a couple of people, and don't bug them while they're in the middle of like trying to run 7 sliders. Just, you know, when you're like breaking for lunch, hey, I saw you were doing this. Can you tell me like how that works?
Get out of your comfort zone. You know, if you're shy and timid, great. That's okay. Get out of your comfort zone. I know a couple people that I work with now that I hire that I met through the film festival, through a DPA event, through some kind of thing, and that when I met them originally, they told me that they were reluctant to come up there and like try to pull me aside and introduce themselves. But, you know, and you can recognize when somebody's kind of shy and they're out of their zone, right?
Right.
And I hire 2 of them on a regular basis. Both, one is an editor, one's basically my AC on shoots, my assistant camera. And I mean, I bet you a lot of money that they're really happy that they made that decision that day, because it's brought them work and it gave them money. You know,
definitely.
And they're both good dudes that I really enjoy working with, and I'm going to keep calling them as long as I can, because as long as I have work for them, because I know what it's like to be in that situation when they were trying to find a way to like convince me to hire them outside of just, hey, I'm a local freelancer and I'm looking for some work. If you ever have anything, do you mind bringing me on? Here's my specialty. Here's my website. Here's my reel. Here's my whatever. Right. I'm a good shooter, or I'm an AC, or I'm an aspiring grip, or I'm a writer, or I'm a whatever. I'm an editor. You know, here's my site, my reel, whatever. Just check it out. You know, whatever. And I think that's, you have to market yourself, but you also have to value yourself. And again, I always keep going back. This is like my new saying: just take yourself seriously. You know, if you don't believe in your skills, then how are you going to market yourself? You have to believe in your worth and your skills. And if you don't think you can do that and market yourself, that's totally fine too. Go find a staff gig. Go get maybe freelancing isn't for you. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
That's totally okay. That's 100% okay. I have a lot of friends that don't want to do the hustle. They just want to show up, do their job, do a great job, get their benefits, and move on.
Right,
and
right.
that's totally great because that company will probably hire the freelancers. And we need that. We need production companies.
Right.
We don't need agencies to be closing down in Dallas like they were in 2024 and 25. We don't need that to happen. We don't need agencies to have less work. We need agencies to have more work.
Right.
And that's hopefully what we're accomplishing in these next. Hopefully, I'm hoping that when you and I are talking this time next year, we're talking about a lot of the changes that we finally really saw take place in 2026.
Now, we're going to circle all the way back. That's been a great
Yeah,
segue on
yeah,
education.
yeah.
And, I really appreciate the discussion.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
I'm a big proponent of education, man, because I was there and I could talk about it all day long. So thanks for letting me do
let's
that.
go. Let's going back to we've got these incentives, more work being done here. Do you feel that's going to influence the Oak Cliff Film Festival?
Yeah.
And how? Do you feel that, there's going to be an influx of a lot of local producers, and this is the independent film that I made, or do you think those incentives are going to be sort of sopped up by the bigger companies, and there's not going to be as much trickle down?
I hope it's split. I really do, because we need the big stuff to hire the people. The small stuff that doesn't hire as many people, great. We need both. We need up and coming independent filmmakers to know that they can do it and have, again, the word is there, incentives. You're getting an incentive to do something, right? So we've now incentivized filming in Texas. So now we need to take advantage of it, use it accordingly. I think in the 2027 film festival, because I think this year's fest is too early to see the fruits of the labor. I think the things that were shot in 2025, 2026 that are either in post or in pre will be done for the 2027 year. And I'm really curious to see what that number of things that were shot in Texas, how high that is and how much higher. Because, we have demographics for all of our submissions. We have all that stuff. I'm really hoping to see a massive influx in 2027. And then I've got some markers that I'm hoping for, some milestones that I want to get to. Like, I want certain amount of submissions to be from Texas. I mean, we are a hyper-local neighborhood film festival. We are championing independent film in Dallas.
Right.
Not just Dallas, but we are here in Dallas. So we're going to champion that and try to make that happen. And I want filmmakers that came to the fest. We've got a couple of filmmakers that were volunteers at one point, and that makes me so happy that they were a volunteer as like a student like 10 years ago, and now they're making films. We have a ton of alumni that come back and they bring their films back to Oak Cliff. We had Albert Burney, big time director now, David Lowery, Bradford Whitcomb, Brett Whitcomb, Bradford Thompson. They're the guys that do films, and every time they have a film, we're like, hey, can we show your film at the fest? Because if we know it's going to be good, let's watch it, it fits, let's get it. And it's just, we love the alumni thing. So I want you to make your film and bring it to Oak Cliff, and I want you to do your next film at the Oak Cliff Film Festival, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. I want that family communal aspect of it. So yeah, I'm really hoping in 2027 we see the fruits of the incentives.
Yeah, and I think also you kind of touched on something like circling back again to the being an intern. The person who is a volunteer at the Film Expo who then becomes a filmmaker. Like, we don't know where we're going to go, and that's part of our business is finding ourselves and figuring out what it is. And that's, like I say, talk to the audio person, talk to the lighting person, because you may have better aptitude or better interest in a different area, but you're only going to find that out if you inquire, if you check it out. It's like, hey, I was here, I'm just doing PA work and helping in the kitchen, but hey, I kind of dig this audio thing a little bit. Do you have a thing coming up that I might be able to assist you? You can talk directly to the person doing the audio and offer to PA or do an internship with them directly, and you do that for a little bit and say, nah, this is boring, I don't like this, and then you get on another thing and you talk to the grip. Hey, can I, shadow you or something like that, and just follow you around and ask you questions and stuff like that? The last thing the thing you do not want to do on a production is, if they're doing a take, is just sitting on your hands doing nothing.
Ryan from Mid 49, he'll be up now.
Okay. So that's what I feel, is that it's an opportunity to explore, not just to learn, but it's like, would this be of interest? You know, set design, prop design, you know, there's so much, you know, people that started out this way. You know, I went to film school at Drexel.
Okay.
With a good friend of mine who
Big five,
we went through the entire film program. He graduated and did stage design. Like,
It's just, yeah.
yeah, like where? How do you shift from film production to designing and building and welding sets?
Yeah, I went to school to be a sports broadcaster. I wanted to call games. I was going to be on SportsCenter. I'm a big sports guy. I went to North Texas to be a sports broadcaster. Within 5 months of being there, taking the core classes, I was like, well, I really like film. And I've always liked film. I'm a big movie guy. Now I'm in film school. Maybe I should switch to film. And I wanted to be a scriptwriter. And so I started learning the art of storytelling and the art of script making or script writing. And then I started doing production work at a company that was doing commercial and corporate. It's like that was not even remotely what I studied in school. And then I somehow landed in sports documentaries. Finally, so I was working for ESPN. I was doing some shows for ESPN, but it was on the documentary storytelling side, not broadcasting, not being the next, you know, Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann and Carl Ravitch and Stuart Scott, anything like that. And so,
Join us. Sit.
And so, yeah.
2K?
4K.
Really?
Yeah.
How much?
And so you never know where you're going to land, and you kind of find your niche along the way.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ashton, I really thank you for taking the
Absolutely,
time to
man.
this.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to catch up.
Yeah.
Get a cheesesteak.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go Birds.
All right, see you, man. Thanks.
Come on, Doug. Come on over here.
So sorry for interrupting.
No, that's fine. Hey, you know what? So tell me what you got going on. Production sound mixer. That's it. Join me here. And just so you know, this is actually we're live streaming.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can tell me about audio production a little bit here.
I'll give you a card for follow-up editing purposes.
Yes.
I'm Doug Moeller.
Good to meet you. Here, put this mic on.
Looks like a Sony, but I know it's not.
It's a Saramonic.
Oh.
An audio person would all of a sudden is like, wait a minute, which one is this? I'm in the UHF band, just because I figured we're down here in downtown Dallas. I'll stick in the Gap channel.
Does it have an auto search for the best frequencies?
It does, but I actually did a manual search and put it in the hole.
Okay. That'll work.
So, thank you for being here. We're talking about like production, you know, as you probably, I don't know if you heard much of our discussion, but we're talking about being in the industry and how do you go from getting started to specializing and learning and everything. And if I could, so you're a sound mixer. How did you get started?
It's kind of interesting. When I got out of high school, I joined the Navy. I was an interior communications specialist on submarines.
Yeah.
So basically, all audio signal, tracking it across the submarine, but basically PA systems, phone systems, all the communication systems that we had. Got out of the Navy, got a job working at a nuclear power plant, and got married. And for 42 years, did all the stuff you do, raised kids, and got them all out of college. And now I retired, and I said, retirement's not all what it's cracked up to be.
No.
And so I bought some audio-visual equipment. I enjoyed photography as a kid, and got some video equipment and audio recorders, and just started goofing around with it. I thought, you know, I could make a living doing this. Discretionary income, and just focus on the types of jobs that I want to work on.
Right.
And so that's what I did, and I said, you know, I need to learn a little bit more about the industry. So I enrolled at TCC's in their film program and got hooked up with Fort Worth Film Commission. So basically doing fairly well. I'm a little over halfway through, got a 4.0 in the GPA.
There you go.
And I'm basically working on you know, learning all the other elements affiliated with it. I've done several paid gigs, and it's always great to have some discretionary income.
Yeah.
And
It's fun work too, though, right?
it actually is, and I enjoy meeting. You know, a lot of people have don't have life experience, but they may have experience at this, and it's enjoyable working with young people. And so it gives me a mentoring opportunity. I'm very quiet in the background when we're on set shooting, and do a good job. I've got good equipment, and I'm looking forward to the opportunities that are forthcoming.
So let me ask you then, if you were to talk to someone who was where you were, looking to get in, what advice would you give them in terms of helping them steer their path?
Really, experience is everything that you have to have, and if you don't have experience, it's pretty difficult. But I know that at the TCC program, the hands-on with the equipment that they have is extraordinary. I've had in my classes young people in their early 20s enroll at TCC, and they have a 4-year degree from other universities in the area in film production. And they go to TCC because they have lots of equipment, and it's all hands-on. You learn exactly how all the cameras work.
Right.
You know how to do your white balance. You know how to pull focus. You know what the problems are affiliated with it. It's the same thing with mixed recorders. They have Tascam recorders. They have sound devices recorders. So you've got Red cameras, Sony cameras. You've got VZO lenses, Sony lenses. Pretty much every type of equipment that you would need on a set, they've got it there. Same thing with your electric department. You've got all the lighting, and you learn how now. Of course, they're learning how to do the hot lights.
Yes.
LEDs are really taking over these days in many respects. So, but we also have those, and we've got the Aperture is a favorite,
right?
And it's just amazing what's going on. I think they pulled in. They have the Blair C80s, I believe it's called. They're loaded up on that. So, as a student, when you're working on a project, you check the equipment out, go home, shoot your project with your 4 or 5 teammates that you're working with. It gives you absolute on-hands equipment, and they've got an excellent internship program where they arrange for these people to go on set. I think there's about 80 different film production companies that are participating.
Right.
I could be wrong on that, but that's one of the last things they have is an internship where they're going out. And many of those students who have since graduated, and I've kept in touch with, they've been referred to jobs because of their work level performance during their internships. Some of the internships are paid, some are not paid.
Right.
But it's a tremendous opportunity for them.
Cool. Well, I thank you very much for giving me the background, and I look forward to seeing you at the rest of the expo.
Oh, you bet. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Take care.
How'd I do? I don't do good on interviews.
You did fine.
I don't like being on film. I like being in the background. So who are you with?
For you. Real world experiences and feedback where I tell you what doesn't work too. No AI is going to actually test and use these tools to find out what doesn't work. So the only way to combat all the crap AI generated videos that regurgitate the same press release information is to subscribe and share real, genuine, experienced streaming content like this. The main location for our live streaming content is StreamTeknology with a K on YouTube. Here, you'll find all of our live shows, our conversations, and all of our fantastic tutorials and tech videos for you to watch anytime you want. I also have a StreamTeknology Facebook page you can subscribe to as well for more information and so you can discuss the shows and videos with other fans. If you're looking for specific assistance with a setup or integration, or for consulting, you can go to stream4.us. That's Stream for Us, and you can reach out to me directly right there. I provide live streaming services and consulting to anyone who needs it. I also write for Streaming Media Magazine, which you can find at streamingmedia.com. There you can click on Producer and see a wealth of content for streaming producers like you and me. They also have a free weekly email newsletter that brings useful information right to your email inbox. But right now, the best thing you can do to help me out is to subscribe and take the video that you like, that you find helpful, and share it on your social media so it might be seen by people who aren't connected to me. That would help me out so much. And you can actually do that while watching this video. Try it. Hey, I wanted to thank you all for being here for original, genuine streaming information, testing, and reviews. My name is Anthony Barocas of StreamTek. Please subscribe to the channel so we can grow this audience for producing real content for you. Real-world experiences and feedback where I tell you what doesn't work too. No AI is going to actually test and use these tools to find out what doesn't work. So the only way to combat all the crap AI-generated videos that regurgitate the same press release information is to subscribe and share real, genuine, experienced streaming content like this. The main location for our live streaming content is StreamTeknology with a K on YouTube. Here you'll find all of our live shows, our conversations, and all of our fantastic tutorials and tech videos for you to watch anytime you want. I also have a StreamTeknology.
Oh, right. We are live here at the Texas Film Gear Winter Gear Showcase. I have an echo in my ears and I cannot speak when it's delayed through the processor. We're here in downtown Dallas and we're here all day. They're actually serving lunch right now. So if you're hungry, come by the expo. You could also look for Idea Man Studios. There are 2 big sound stages here where you can film things, white screen, green screen. And if you were looking to do this with some nice cameras, properly outfitted, I have with me Rob Eagle from Tangerine.
Bright Tangerine.
Bright Tangerine, not dark Tangerine, but Bright Tangerine. And you brought along some gear. Here, let's move this stuff out of the way here.
Yeah. It's our new universal camera cage. So
universal.
Instead of buying a camera and a cage with every different camera, we've got it set up with a Canon C80 and a Sony A7R5. So the whole idea is not to buy.
There we go.
Look how close you've got. Not to buy a different camera, a different cage for every single camera. So what you've got is universal. So it doesn't sit on the camera. So you don't have to. So if you want to swap between the C80 and then put the A7 on, it's basically you just unclip it, take it out, put a different camera in. The whole system is NATO rail around the outside, so you can see you can put any accessories on you want, like a cheese plate on the top. You can put your microphone on, you can put a light on. We've got a new universal monitor mount on here at the moment as well, on the rods. So it just attaches very quickly onto a small HD monitor.
Okay.
So then you could place it onto this one, take it off. The whole idea is you just put it on, clip it in, and then off you go. Then you set the monitor to the position you want by just undoing, twisting. So it's universal. We do rod mount, we do cold shoe mount, we do 3/8 1/4-20 mount. So yeah, it fits onto the accessories of this cage. The whole idea of the cage is, like I say, you know, if you are like, cameras don't last that long generally because there's a new one comes out the next week. It's like a TV. So one week you've got an A7, the next week is an A7R6, A7R8. You know, the C80 comes out.
We're not specifically calling out any particular manufacturer.
No, we're not calling. But yeah, the cameras are fast. And then if you decide to move from a Sony to a Canon, then you'd have to buy a whole new system to put with it. Whereas with this universal cage, you just swap the camera out and put it into the new camera in. So you're not dedicating it to one specific.
It doesn't need to hug the camera organically.
It doesn't. And then if you, like I say, we've got different lenses on there and you want to alter your balance, whereas you just move the whole rod system out so you can alter your balance when you're handheld. So you move it very quickly.
Right.
And then you can, let's say, you can attach a handle system on, so you can have We have a shoulder pad system for it, so it's sort of becoming more universal rather than specific. Always struggle with this word specific, but there we go, we got it out today.
And it could also be kind of cost effective in terms of the fact that, you know, even from manufacturing wise, you're not having to design and manufacture a new thing every 6 months.
Yeah, although we are making something for the C50 and the Nikon ZR or ZR, depending which country you're from. So we are making those dedicated towards those, but then the whole idea of this is, yes, if somebody says to me there's a new camera out tomorrow and it's the Canon C or the Nikon or the Arri, let's try and get them all in, all the Sony, so we're not leaving anybody out, then we say, yes, we have a cage that's available for it now. Because generally what you find is, because a lot of us manufacturers don't get to hear all the information from the camera manufacturers early enough, so it's always a race to get the cage out. Whereas now we can say, yes, we have it available for that camera.
Right, you have something you can just drop it into.
Drop it in.
And get going. And then if down the road something very more specific to that particular model comes out, then you could move over to that if you need it, because who knows, in 6-9 months you may just move to the next thing.
Yeah, we generally look at things slightly different to other manufacturers as well for all the accessories. We try and make something a bit not so generic, or as in we'll add a little feature that's just specific to Bright Tangerine. So that takes a lot more time to do, because the R&D can take 6 to 8 months sometimes.
Right.
The camera might have been out for 6 to 8 months. So the whole idea of this is, yes, we have something available right now, and you can buy it, and it starts at $99. Goes all the way up to $500 for the whole cage build out.
Right.
And as you can see, we've got a new short base plate on here, just come out recently for the smaller cameras, and then we have our standard size, and that's that's a Manfrotto DJI plate, so you can take it straight off this, put it onto a DJI, you can put it onto a tripod.
Right.
So you don't have to have the whole bottom plate. It's just a snap off. So if you've got a Manfrotto 501. You can just pop it straight on there, and then you take away having all this other accessories. So yeah, it's lots of different choices, and that gets confusing sometimes when you've got a customer who wants to buy this or wants to buy that. But yeah, it starts off at $99, goes up to about $550. So for Bright Tangerine to be in that price range is unheard of for us. So.
Well, and also there's a lot of competition, from around the world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of daunting, because if you went on to B&H and said camera cage, you're going to get 1,000 different things to go through, and whether it be a half cage, a full cage, a swing out, all these different things, and it's almost daunting to find the right thing, straight out of the box. And so having something that is a little bit more generic, that's not perfectly mated to the camera you have, also allows you as a user to say, well, I want to do something different with it today.
Yeah. It's it gives you the ability to swap and change, like I said, not just the cameras, but the way you set it up. And it is daunting if you went in and put camera cage into Amazon or B&H or any site. Like the amount of cages that are on there, it's like, even I do sometimes, because I look to do things differently, and I put in even NATO rails, like 500 different NATO rails come up on. So it is daunting. So that's why we've made this more universal. So it's not going to be for everybody. It doesn't tick every single box, but what it does do, it ticks the box of, I can just put my camera on, I can go and work, I can alter my balance, I can swap between handheld, I can swap between shoulder pad really, really quickly, make it more easier for people to use. Because, once you get into and every DP or every operator has their own specific needs that they want, and you can't cater for everybody.
Yeah.
And we have tried to do that in the past, where somebody will call and say, oh, I'd love it if you did this, and we went and did that, and then that doesn't suit somebody else down the road. Yeah. So it gets very daunting as a manufacturer trying to cover everybody.
You have to strike a balance between making something universal, but then also finding perhaps a gap in the marketplace that isn't yet being served.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, is it a gap, or is that just nobody wants that?
Yeah, it's a gap that's, finding those gaps is very difficult right now. And that's what we tend to try and do is, it's a cage, but it's slightly different to everybody else's cages. So we're always looking for that little gap or the little niche. And that's why we came out, we call this a part of the Create range. So everybody knows us for our cinema range.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we were a little bit more expensive, but there's a lot more functionality on all of the bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Whereas our Create range is very aggressively priced. And it's got a little bit less functionality. So it's sort
But
of
serving a different market.
it's serving a slightly different market where, you know, somebody might want us to buy a less expensive brand, then sees the Bright Tangerine brand, knows the name, knows the quality,
right.
and the customer service that goes alongside that. You know, we're always available. So then it's made it more accessible for them to purchase now. But you know, it's creating more difficulties for us because we're in a different market that we weren't before. But you know, that's the whole idea of even this rig, is to make it more universal. It's easier for somebody to go and click a button, purchase it, and it'll do 90% of what it wants to do, or what they want it to do, or even 100%. But yeah, trying to cover everybody's wants. It's like the fashion industry. Everybody wants something different.
Yeah.
And
well, also, you can't be all things to all people all the time. It's physically impossible. So it's finding that balance where I can be many things to many people at a price point that makes it work for all three of us.
yeah, if we did cover everybody's bases, then I would, you know, I would have flown in on my private jet, not on Spirit this morning or last night. So, but yeah, it is difficult. So yeah, but what we try and do is we try to offer as much functionality in a much cheaper product in the Create range as possible. You know, we are in this to make money, same as everybody else. So we still, you know, we've still got mouths to feed and bills to pay. But we're trying to enter into a market. No, we're not in any competition with any of the other manufacturers from other parts of the world. So that's why we've got our own Create range now. So it's opened up a few more doors already in the last few months. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for being here at the Texas Film Gear Expo. Thank you for showing these off. And I will look forward to checking them out in person. I actually have something I'll tell you about when we get done with this.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care.
Take care. All right, my name is Anthony Barocas. I am here at the Texas Film Gear Winter Gear Showcase. And if you are on your way, you can come down to 166 Express Street in Dallas. They're serving lunch right now. And I'm going to wrap up my broadcast from here right now so that I can go grab lunch. But I thank everyone who has joined me for this live show. And is my mic peeking into the red? Yeah, my guess is probably peeking into the red a little bit. No, actually it's not. So it's clipping somewhere else. Not clipping here. But thank you all for being here to watch the shows with me, and I will look forward to seeing you next week on the next show. Thanks for watching.